Why U.S. presidents deported foreigners from America. America has long been called a nation of immigrants. But throughout history, U.S. presidents have also ordered the deportation of foreigners. Why? Was it about national security? Economic competition? Political fear? Today, we uncover the reasons behind the forced removal of immigrants from the United States. Chapter 1, The Early Days, the Alien and Sedition Acts, 1798. It all started with the Alien and Sedition Acts of 1798. President John Adams feared that foreigners, especially those sympathetic to the French Revolution, could pose a threat to the young republic. So, he signed laws allowing the government to detain and deport any immigrant deemed dangerous to the peace and safety of the United States. The law targeted French and Irish immigrants, many of whom supported the opposition party led by Thomas Jefferson. Chapter 2, Chinese Exclusion and Racial Deportations, 1882 to 1943. Fast forward to the late 19th century. Chinese immigrants have come to America in large numbers, working on railroads and in mines. But economic downturns fueled resentment. In 1882, President Chester A. Arthur signed the Chinese Exclusion Act, banning Chinese laborers and making it easier to deport those already in the U.S. It was the first major law to target a specific ethnic group for deportation. Chapter 3, The Red Scare and Mass Deportations, 1919 to 1920s. After World War I, fear of communism gripped the nation. The U.S. government cracked down on suspected radicals, many of whom were immigrants. Under President Woodrow Wilson's administration, Attorney General A. Mitchell Palmer launched the infamous Palmer Raids, leading to thousands of deportations of suspected anarchists and communists. The most famous case? The deportation of anarchist Emma Goldman back to Russia. Chapter 4, The Great Depression and Mexican Repatriation, 1930s. During the Great Depression, millions of Americans were unemployed. The government, under Presidents Herbert Hoover and Franklin D. Roosevelt, launched a campaign to deport Mexicans and Mexican Americans to free up jobs. Around 1.8 million people, including U.S. citizens of Mexican descent, were forcibly removed or pressured to leave in what became known as the Mexican Repatriation. Chapter 5, Cold War Anti-Communist Purges, 1950s. The Cold War brought another wave of fear. Under President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the U.S. government targeted foreign-born individuals suspected of communist ties. The McCarran-Walter Act of 1952 made it easier to deport those seen as threats to national security. But Eisenhower's most controversial deportation program was Operation Wetback in 1954, a large-scale effort that expelled over 1 million Mexican immigrants, many of whom had legally entered the country. Chapter 6, Post 9/11 and the Modern Era. After the September 11th attacks, national security became the top priority. The USA Patriot Act gave the government broader powers to detain and deport individuals suspected of ties to terrorism. Deportations increased under Presidents Obama and Trump, with Trump enforcing some of the strictest policies in modern history, including family separations at the border. Conclusion: a controversial legacy. Throughout American history, presidents have deported foreigners for different reasons, sometimes national security, sometimes economic competition, and sometimes political pressure. The debate continues today: should America tighten its borders, or should it remain a land of opportunity? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Call to action: like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history.